talented wrestlers being overlooked seems to have been a problem in WWE for what seems like forever. How did my best friend Wade Barrett never become world champion? And with a deeper roster than ever before, there are sadly still some men and women who are slipping between the cracks and not receiving the spotlight they deserve. Some of them get TV time but aren't being utilised to the best of their abilities. Others, meanwhile, are nowhere to be seen because Vince McMahon has either given up on them or they're not traditionally what the company looks for when it comes to finding the face of WWE. The one thing they all have in common is that they all have the potential to be top stars if they're given the push they so desperately need. With that in mind, I'm Adam Wilborn from What Culture, and these are 10 WWE superstars who are being totally overlooked. Number 10, Sami Zayn. Alright, this entry was originally down as Sami Zayn, but they just went and made him Intercontinental Champion. About bloody time. So I'll use this time to promote Titus O'Neil instead. He looks great, he's a former tag team and the inaugural 24/7 champion, and by all accounts is a lovely bloke outside the ring too. Yes, he stacked it in Saudi, but just give him another chance. Number 9, Cedric Alexander. Remember when fans chanted, "Please sign Cedric" after his standout performance in WWE's Cruiserweight Classic? It seemed like the only place Cedric Alexander could go was up from there. But his underwhelming time in 205 Live didn't exactly mean there was a lot of excitement surrounding his permanent Raw debut last year. While Paul Heyman reportedly sees Alexander as a future star, Vince McMahon believes otherwise and seemingly feels that the right way to deal with that is to bury him on a regular basis. Drew McIntyre, King Corbin, AJ Styles, Riddick Bloody Moss can be counted among the names who have scored wins over the former Cruiserweight champion in recent months, and it feels like there is no saving him at this point. Unless a return to NXT is possible, Alexander might be better off just heading elsewhere once his current contract expires. As we'll always have Gary the Goat Garber, eh lads? Number 8, Aden English. Had WWE actually taken the vaudevillain seriously, Aden English and Simon Gotch could have been every bit as fun to watch on the main roster as they were in NXT. The latter's departure from the company closed the door on that ever happening though, and left English without anything to do. Surprisingly, he managed to reinvent himself with a singing gimmick and a later alliance with Rusev, resulting in one of WWE's most entertaining duos. As well as Rusev Day. Like most good things in the company though, it ended too soon, and once again finding himself without a partner, English was directionless again. In early 2019, a decision was made for him to no longer wrestle, and he now serves as a commentator for NXT UK. It's a role he's surprisingly well suited to, and it would be no bad thing to see him continue working in that capacity moving forward. However, there's no way of escaping the feeling that WWE has overlooked one of its most promising talents, and there was surely more for him to do on TV before the plug was pulled. I'm not saying he ever was going to be WWE champion, although anything's possible after this bollocks. But with solid in-ring performances and an entertaining personality, English could have easily risen up the ranks. Number 7, the IKonics. WWE, and you don't need me to tell you this, has seriously dropped the ball on the IKonics, the Flaming Galahs. Following a massively entertaining run in NXT, no one was surprised when they were called up to the main roster as a tag team, and they did an excellent job playing the annoying heels who could easily infuriate fans. After winning the Women's Tag Team Championships at WrestleMania and making me do this, it seemed like WWE had stumbled across a duo who could put the division on the map. But Billy Bloody Kay and Peyton Bloody Royce were portrayed as losers from the start and disappeared from TV after dropping the belts. The reason why has never been revealed, but given how rarely even the Kabuki Warriors defend their titles, it seems WWE just has zero creative plans for these titles. The way they were treated during their reign hurt the IKonics in a big way, and with no sign of them even on live events since last year, it looks like WWE may have gone back to the drawing board and could even be considering repackaging them. Don't you dare! I have perfected the accent and everything. Iconic! Number 6, Bo Dallas. Remember when Bo Dallas was one of the most entertaining parts of NXT as the brand's champion. During that period, he stole the show in matches against the likes of Big E Langston, Antonio Cesaro, and Aden Neville, but his move to the main roster, let's be honest, was a flop, especially with the lame Bo Leave gimmick, which never really resonated with fans. While he managed to overcome terrible creative decisions with entertaining stints in factions like the Social Outcasts and the B-Team, WWE never really gave him the opportunity to get over with the fans. It's honestly baffling that WWE has never had Dallas do anything noteworthy with his real-life brother Bray, and adding him to the Firefly Funhouse down the line could be a lot of fun. Bo knows how to entertain, and while it's far too soon to downgrade The Fiend to the tag team division, having his brother follow him into battle could give WWE its own version of the Broken Era, Matt and Jeff Hardy. Number 5. Apollo Crews. Triple H has talked openly about his frustrations with Vince McMahon calling NXT talent up to the main roster on a whim. But now the show is on the USA Network, you hope that those days are over. You have to believe that Apollo Crews is one of the talents the game really regrets losing, especially as he clearly wasn't ready for the big time when he arrived on Raw in 2016. After an underwhelming series of matches, Apollo found himself working with veteran Titus O'Neil as part of Titus Worldwide! But even I'll admit that never really went anywhere, and he's since found himself filling the role of a typical lower mid-card talent. Apollo is big, athletic, and legitimately talented. Unfortunately, he could now only really benefit from returning to NXT and being repackaged, as he's in desperate need of a fresh gimmick. Number 4. EC3. Where did it all go wrong? With the sort of physique Vince McMahon absolutely adores and a killer gimmick which got him over with even the picky NXT audience, there was no reason to suspect that EC3 couldn't rise straight to the top of the card on Monday Night Raw. Unfortunately, it seems he was just another victim of the WWE chairman's fickle nature. Fickle! McMahon was reportedly furious that he failed to get fans to cheer for him during his brief rivalry with Dean Ambrose, someone the WWE Universe was always going to root for, especially knowing he was leaving the company, well, unless you thought it was a work. And EC3, who was actually introduced as a heel in video packages, quickly found himself portrayed as a mute in bizarre backstage segments. That's always good with a talker. It was all downhill from there, and he's rarely been seen since. It's been reported that he's started filing trademarks, so chances are he wants to leave WWE as soon as his current contract ends. The company could let some time pass and reintroduce him as the character we know from NXT, but it may be a little too late for that. He could, however, excel in AEW or the NWA. Number 3. Sonya Deville. With a legit MMA background, Sonya Deville should have been portrayed as a tough-as-nails badass from the start, but a burial at the hands of Ronda Rousey likely means that it will now be an uphill battle to ever make sure she's viewed as a credible threat to her fellow superstars. Deville is WWE's only openly gay superstar on the main roster, and the company really missed a trick by failing to make that known to anyone who doesn't watch Total Divas. After all, she's someone who could have shown many wrestling fans that they are represented on Raw and SmackDown too, and while her sexuality should by no means decide whether she receives a push, she does have the talent to back it up. WWE appeared to back out of plans to explore a romantic relationship between Deville and Mandy Rose, and so she's now used as little more than a prop in the peculiar storyline that's playing out between God's greatest creation and Otis. God, I love him. If Deville is given the chance to break free, though, we really could see things turn around for her. Number 2. Cesaro. Fans have been complaining about the way Cesaro is treated for years now, and it's something WWE still hasn't taken on board. Short of a fan movement similar to those for Daniel Bryan and Kofi Kingston, it seems the ship may have sailed on the Swiss Superman. Throw in the fact that those same fans probably won't be able to get behind him due to losing faith in a WWE Championship run ever becoming a reality, and he may well be screwed. If WWE does decide to pull the trigger on a noteworthy push, and Vince can get over his apparent lack of interest in superstars whose first language isn't English, then fans will surely get behind him, and with the proper build, a match between him and Brock Lesnar, for example, would be truly epic. Plus, he smashed his teeth into his own gums, the mad sod. Number 1. Big E. Big E is one half of the former SmackDown Tag Team Champions, one of WWE's top merchandise sellers, and a huge fan favourite. How then is he being overlooked? Well, it's quite simple. At this point in his career, the New Day member should be a top single star in WWE, no question. And if that means saying goodbye to this fan favourite faction, well, I suppose so be it. It was awesome watching Kofi Kingston's rise to WWE Championship glory on the road to WrestleMania last year. But a superstar like Big E is the future, and it's about damn time he'd have a lengthy run with a top title. That would work whether Big E was a monster heel or massively popular babyface. And while his New Day brothers could come along for the ride, WWE needs to put the spotlight on the former NXT champion sooner rather than later. He's definitely not doing as badly as the other superstars listed here, but Big E's push is long overdue. And it'd be a shame for that moment to pass. And that's our list. Did we miss any out? Let us know in the comment section below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And subscribe to What Culture Wrestling on either iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from for daily wrestling podcasts. Plus, you can check out some more recent videos here. Thanks for watching. I've been Adam from What Culture, and I'll see you soon.